emotions are running high, people are more aware of their mortality, of life itself and of changes.
There's a lot of emotional complications with coming back here.
There is that feeling throughout series 2, I think, of people wanting to seize the moment.
There is this emotional, I guess, pace this year.
The war had just thrown everything up in the air, and all those preconceived ideas about what was right and what was steady was thrown to the wind.
The truth is, I'll stay in Downton until you want to run away with me.
Don't be ridiculous.
You're too scared to admit it.
With the war being there, there is heightened emotion every day.
Sometimes it feels as if all the men I ever danced with are dead.
And I think in times of change, people cling to what they know, and for instance, love and the understanding of someone and having a connection is something that spans all of that. The connection she has with Branson is beautiful. In the first series, I never saw it sort of being romantic or anything like that. I never read it as that. She just was so happy for there to be someone she could talk to and understood her. It'd be hard to let you go. My last link with home.
Not as hard as it is for me.
Branson.
I know I shouldn't say it, but I can't keep it in any longer.
Sybil really doesn't know what to do because she knows how wrong this union would be. Those constraints are still there for the young girls, that you can't just marry anyone.
You see, sometimes in war one can make friendships that aren't quite appropriate and can be awkward, you know, later on.
I'm sure plenty of people were attracted to each other across the barriers, but I think Sybil is essentially a rebel, and I think one of her ways of expressing her rebellion is Branson. I think it isn't only that she finds him attractive or is in love with him, it suits her to have a statement of rebellion in her life choice.
Appropriate for whom?
Well, don't jump down my throat, dear. I'm only offering friendly advice.
Very often, a man or a woman falls in love with somebody who their parents doesn't particularly approve of, or they think they're not the right kind of person, or whatever it was. Well, transfer that immediately back to the First World War. Multiply it because of the nature of social differences and gradings that everybody had, and it becomes much clearer why it's so extraordinary and so dangerous for Sybil to be going out with the chauffeur.
I'm in a uniform.
Wrong kind.
We don't care about stuff like that in the same way now. But then, this was a massive danger for her, because if she did marry the chauffeur, and who knows, maybe she will, then that would put her out of society, because there's no way Branson would be allowed or accepted in the great houses.
He's a person. You can discuss other things.
I'm sure he can, but not with you.
What do you want from me? Am I to see if Sir Richard Carlisle has a younger brother, one who's even richer than he is?
Darling, what's the matter with you? I'm on your side.
Then be on my side. Their relationship's really interesting because he tells her everything, how he feels about her, really, and then he understands it, then that freaks her out. At a point, I think, when Sybil's leaving home, she's going to be living away for 2 months, just sort of thinking, you're doing this now? You've had 2 years.
They'll come around. And until they do, I promise to devote every waking minute to your happiness.
The war changes so much of how people view the aristocracy, and so everything is there to play for then. So he just keeps trying to push her to kind of see, to come around to his way of thinking. Obviously, if you've seen Jesper and Findlay, it's not hard to play opposite her, in fairness, you know? Looking like you want to kiss her is kind of like, well, yeah, Grant, well, it's not hard, it's you.
I thought you'd be angry.
Because that's the first time you've ever spoken about us.
So much gets in the way, like with Matthew and Mary. They're constantly being pulled apart.
Matthew's engaged. He's brought her to Downton to meet his mother.
Well, how marvellous.
It's wonderfully written, and how those, you know, those two love affairs, I guess, kind of intertwine in the story.
Are you all right, milady?
Oh, Anna.
The difficulty I think Mary has, because she's obviously wound up about Matthew. She doesn't know where she is. She's got the pressures of her family wanting her to get married. She doesn't know who to get married to. She doesn't know how to deal with Matthew. Of course, she's got this deep down love for him. And yet she knows that at any time, that telegram that she hears about through her friends is coming to so many different families could come back about Matthew. And she feels an intensity about what she's in danger of losing.
Mary, if I don't come back, no, if I don't, then do remember how very glad I am that we made up when we had the chance. I mean it. You send me off to war a happy man.
Mary is very headstrong and unable to accept that she can't have her own way. But of course, coupled to that is she cannot be pitied. She can never be in a position where anyone feels sorry for her. So it is impossible for her to show Matthew the extent of her continuing love for him, because that would, for herself, make her feel weak.